My name is Carola Di Alessandro, Project Manager, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the third and last formal workshop in the framework of the Southwestern U.S. Ground Motion Characterization Shock Level 3 study. This project originated in the summer 2012 when three utilities, Arizona Public Service, Pacific Gas and Electric, and Southern California Edison, joined to respond to the U.S. NRC near-term task force evaluation after the Fukushima Daiichi accident. That is also referred to as the 5054F letter. So as of October of last year, Southern California Edison is no longer part of this effort. The goal of this project is to conduct a shock level 3 effort to develop ground motion models that can be used in a probabilistic seismic hazard assessment framework for the two sites of interest in this project, which is the Diablo Canyon Power Plant and the Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station. After this talk, Norm Abramson, who is the technical integrator team lead, will provide a brief overview on the project scope and also mention how it interfaces with the seismic source characterization and the site response efforts, which are separate projects conducted by each utility separately. So, the motivation to perform a shock level 3 study is mandated in the 5054F letter, and in particular in the recommendation 2.1, which states that all licenses are ordered to reevaluate the seismic hazard at their sites using updated information and present-day regulatory guidance and methodology. The document recommends the use of a Senior Seismic Hazard Analysis Committee, that's what is referred to as SHAC, approach for the treatment of expert judgment and the treatment of a quantification of the uncertainty. This is, again, to develop ground motion models that can be used in a probabilistic seismic hazard assessment to develop risk-informed, performance-based ground motion response spectra, GMRS. GMRS will be compared with the design basis safe shutdown earthquake by March of next year. And these are the two reference documents that we are implementing in this project. All the project documents are publicly available. You can follow this link to access the website for the project hosted at the PG&E's domain. And just to check, for the people online, please mute yourself so we don't hear you. So the project documentation includes the project plan, the complete documentation of the concluded workshop 1 and 2. So for instance, if you access the website, you can find the portion which is for our project, and you can explore it at your convenience. For instance, you can look at the 3 workshops. Right now 2 workshops have been uploaded. This is for a sake of a sample. Workshop 2, you can download the technical presentation. You can follow links to access YouTube videos, and you can also download the proceedings. In the same way, Workshop 3 will be documented in the specific portion of the project. And here again is the public website if you want to write it down for your notes. Now, this is a perfect chance to remind you this workshop is being recorded. So not only the technical presentations, but pretty much everything that goes on in the room is also recorded. And the videos will be posted in the project website. This flowchart serves as a reminder on the shock level 3 process. We hosted our first workshop 1 year ago when we evaluated the hazard sensitive issues and then also availability of data and data needs. In October, we held the workshop 2 when we reviewed the proponent model, the technical basis of these models, and discussed the alternative interpretations. These have served for the technical integrators to evaluate the information received, and they have started integrating them to create preliminary ground motion models, which are going to be debated at this workshop. We are here. So after this workshop, the hazards received will serve to finalize the ground motion model. We are on track to finalize the models by the summer. We are going to issue a draft report in October, and the final report will be issued in January 2015. So as you can see, this is the last of the 3 formal workshops in the shock level 3 approach. It is called Preliminary Ground Motion Model and Hazard Feedback. The specific goals of this workshop are to review the evaluations that the TI team has conducted after workshop 2. And this is also to create a setting where the evaluators can present, discuss, and debate their preliminary models. They can use the results of the hazard feedback to highlight those technical issues that are most significant to the hazard, so to evaluate the hazard significance of each component in the ground motion model. This is called hazard feedback workshop. We want to obtain the feedback also from the PPRP, who are relieved from their observer status and are expected to extensively question the ground motion models. Finally, in the light of the feedback received, this workshop created a chance to discuss the path forward to finalize the models. The approach to fulfill our goals will be accomplished in 2 steps. In the first step, the evaluators present their preliminary models, and they put particular emphasis in how the alternative viewpoints and interpretation have been integrated after workshop 2. In the second part, the feedback is received from sensitivity analysis and from PPRP. In the presentations of the first part will be delivered by members of the TI team, who will provide the overall framework for their evaluation, which is customarily expressed in the form of master logic trees. You will see that our logic trees do not have relative weights associated on them, because here what we want to focus is to discuss the envisioned approach to evaluate the alternatives and the uncertainties. There will also be presentations from selected resource experts on proponent models that are going to be evaluated and properly integrated in the preliminary models. The feedback, as mentioned before, is achieved from hazard sensitivity and from the PPRP. Again, the hazard sensitivity serves to highlight the hazard significance of the various components of the models, and the PPRP in this workshop embrace their participatory role and question the ability of the models to represent the center, body, and range of the technically defensible interpretations. CBR of the TDIs, you're going to hear that over and over. In this workshop, we are also going to capture the feedback from the resource experts that joined us in person and in remote. And again, we want to make sure we capture all the relevant feedback to have an understanding on how we can move forward, the path forward, and how the TI team can prioritize their task towards the finalization of the hazard models. So we are going to have plenty of time for discussions. The discussions will be primarily between TI team and PPRP. However, we have reserved the time to have discussions also with members of resource experts. Everybody else will be considered an observer and will have a chance to ask questions or raise comments at the end of each stage. This is a brief overview of the agenda. The agendas are available at the registration desk, so please make use of that. On day 1, we are going to progress this presentation with the status of task identified at workshop 2. We are going to look at the proposed approach to address the median models, and this includes also the integration of visualization techniques. Then we're going to address finite fault simulations, and each day we're going to conclude with a summary of the day, comments from observers, then the PPRP will caucus and they will have a separate meetings. And we are going to have a public Q&A session on science associated to Diablo Canyon. This is something hosted by PG&E. It's going to take place at the Slater room, which is the room behind you, for day 1 and 3, whereas on day 2, we are going to be upstairs in the sprawl room. This is the overview of the day 2 session. So we're going to address the Palo Verde nuclear generating station hazard feedback and the evaluation of the candidate models for median from the controlling sources, the host Arizona sources and the distant California sources. Then we're going to address the candidate ground motion models and logic tree structure for sigma, addressing phi and tau separately. Then on day 3, we're going to do the same for the Diablo Canyon power plan. We're going to address the hazard feedback, the evaluation of the candidate models for the median, for the controlling sources, track sleep, and reverse. We're going to have specific talks that are appropriate for the Diablo Canyon, such as the proponent directivity models, and then also the evaluation of the path effects. We're going to conclude the workshop with a discussion on the path forward before wrapping up with a summary of that day and an overview of the past days. And then again, the comments, the caucus, and the public meeting. So this is it for the introduction. If there is any questions,